Back to our top story now. A 3.8 magnitude quake has struck Melbourne overnight. Joining us live is Geoscience Australia seismologist Hugh Glanville. Hugh, good morning to you. Thank you for your time. Now, 3.8 is not that big, but what are the particulars of it?
So at 11:41 last night, we had a 3.8 just north of Melbourne in Sunbury that shook the city very strongly. It was only a depth of 2 kilometres, so the shaking was felt quite widely. And we've had over 23,000 felt reports all the way north to Albury and all the way south into Tasmania.
Fault reports, what's that?
So it's when people have felt the earthquake and they can submit to our website how strongly they felt the earthquake and when they felt that. And we use that to track how widely and how strongly an earthquake's felt in Australia.
So what are the varying degrees of feelings people had?
Some people very close to the earthquake will hear the earthquake. So the shaking actually transmits from the earth into the atmosphere and they can hear the rumble to as far away as, a very light vibration, or if you're in a upper story in a building, you might get a slight sway. But very close, they had shaking for 30 plus seconds of a rumbling plus walls rattling and things falling off shelves.
Much in the way of damage?
No, very little. So we don't tend to expect earthquake damage from magnitude 3.8. You don't tend to get more significant damage. You'll start to get cracking till around magnitude 4.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's good news that we're not talking about anything more serious. I mean, there was a much more serious one that hit Melbourne a couple of years ago now, Hugh. How rare are these quakes around Melbourne?
So while the small and medium-sized earthquakes are quite common, so within 100 kilometres of this one that we had last night, we've had 29 in the past 10 years, so you're averaging nearly 3 a year. Whereas the very large ones, say the magnitude 5.9 in 2021, they're very rare. That was actually the largest we've instrumentally ever recorded in Victoria. So they're very rare. They do happen, but they're quite rare. So
right. So do you regard this as small or medium?
Medium is starting to get up there in Australia. So once we start to get towards magnitude 4, it's much more widely felt. Okay. The shaking, there can be very minor damage, so that's where I start to consider them to be medium.
Can it be a sign of bigger ones to come at all?
It's unlikely, but we never rule it out. It is possible. We do have rare occurrences in Australia where we get what we call a foreshock, where you have an earthquake or sequence of earthquakes followed by a larger earthquake. They're very rare, though. We tend to more get the classic earthquake or main shock followed by aftershock. So, for example, in this case, if we have a 3.8 followed by some magnitude 2 earthquakes, that would be the standard earthquake sequence.
Okay.
But we never rule out the chance of a large one.
Thanks for your time, Hugh. Talk to you soon.
No worries.